Welcome back to the Bill of Rights show on NDTV Hindu with me, Kuku Alex. This is where we tell you about your rights as a consumer and how you can exercise them. Now we bring you a story about the struggles that one student had to undergo after the pursuit of education took her to a place that wasn't home to her in more ways than one. Accommodation is always top priority for a student going to a different city to study. In this story, the student I just told you about was midway through her college studies when she suddenly found herself without hostel accommodation. Butler tells you what the girl did in the situation.
She was a student like these girls, enrolled in an engineering college, and paid 7,000 rupees as an initial deposit for accommodation at its hostel. But after some time, when the college moved to a new location, it did not have a hostel. She was not only stranded, her deposit was also not refunded.
She filed a case file before the district forum and she got an order in her favour that the district forum awarded a sum of rupees 7,000 towards the caution deposit and a sum of rupees 10,000 towards compensation and a sum of rupees 5,000 as cost to the complainant.
Experts say it is important to get written guarantees of the facilities offered at the time of enrollment.
Nowadays, all the institutions are charging heavily for the courses. But once they decided that they want to claim the amount from the institution, it has to be in writing. They cannot say, ask him in orally. It has to be on records. The institutions has to repay the amount. If at all, they are entitled for reduction of the administration charges.
Experts also point out that students should make sure if colleges have the capability to deliver the promises they make. They also warn of hidden costs due to the lack of transparency in the procedures. In Chennai, Bertila, NDTV Hindu.
A consumer rights activist joined us and told us about the various steps that you could take to avoid landing in a similar situation.
This is strange in the sense that when a college shifts locations, that a student is left without any accommodation. So what exactly should a student really keep in mind and take care of on the basic front?
Ensure that the college is situated in a permanent structure belonging to the college and there will be no shift at least during the time she finishes the course.
Right, but is it not possible for even a premier institution to decide to change locations?
In premier institutions decide to change locations, they should be adaptable to refund when such request for refund is made. It is not the cost by the student, it is by the institution which has changed its location to suit its convenience. Here in this case, hostel facility was denied. Definitely the refund had to be made at the first instance. When it was not made and having waited for completion of her course, the student had approached the court and thereafter got his remedy. A very paltry sum had been given as compensation.
You are of course of the opinion that compensation is not enough in a lot of cases. How does the student approach? Who does he or she approach first? Is it the school management? How do you go about it?
Management has to be contacted. The principal who's the college responsible person, and then the administrative people, whoever is the person in charge, or the correspondent, or whoever is the person, the founder of the college. If those people are available, ask him to give a letter in writing making a demand. It is a justifiable demand because the cause is not made by him. The cause is by the college shifting its campus elsewhere, and when there are no facilities for which it has been paid and not been given, he is entitled to get his refund. In such cases, the refund should be given immediately instead of making him running to court and things like that, makes it on a wild goose chase. First and foremost, the student will not be able to make a claim immediately, fearing reprisals from the management or the college authorities because he has made a demand. Though the demand is reasonable and just, the fear is always there for him to be a victimization of the circumstances having asked a question of refund. That should be avoided, and the college should be definitely magnanimous enough. The college should put forth their offer of refund immediately, even before the student asking for it, because they have changed the place and they have denied the facility.
Right, but what about a case where the first year is over and a lot of hostels have this condition that once 1 year is over, you need to renew the fee to get a place in the hostel for the next year as well. So what if the change happens during that time? Then what can the student do?
See, if 1 year is over and the second year the place is shifted and there is no hostel facility, the student is left with no other option than to stay elsewhere and approach the college. Here the student cannot be compelled to pay the subsequent charges, hostel charges for the years to come till he finishes the course. they should stop demanding such fees for the hostel when there is no such facility provided due to the shift by the college authorities on their own volition.
So what are some of the documents that students should necessarily have in case this happens and they want to prevent?
Let them go through the regulations at the time of joining, which is given to them with the details. Not many of the colleges will give you that, no.
Okay,
And how many of us in a hurry retain it for years to come, when we at least during the course of continuing the college days.
That's the only document that you can have?
The booklet which they give you at the time of admission, how many of us hold it and how many of us care to look into it.
So that's absolutely more than enough then to push it
definitely
forward.
the conditions are there, no. It binds the authorities as well as the student. There are do's and don'ts, and what are the terms to be paid, what is, see, it spells out everything. The brochure or the college calendar, as what may call it, will spell out all the details of whatever facilities the courses offered. It speaks about the college, the courses offered, the facilities given, what are your do's and what are your don'ts. Definitely all these 5 features will be definitely listed in the college and whom to contact.
Well, let's just keep this particular instance in mind, but throw it the other way around. Now, suppose a student had joined the college and had completed a year already, and it was a 2-year course.
Okay.
And say the student wants to leave midway. Is there any possibility of refunding the other half of the year?
Definitely, basically now the GO is there, government order has been circulated, and in fact have done a case where refund is given after due deductions. It be reasonable deductions on administrative charges as what has been highlighted, and the college cannot keep off the entire money. There will be some charges will be deducted and majority of the money will be refunded back after taking into consideration the duration the student has spent with the college and utilize its facilities.
Right, but in cases like the example that Natasha gave, and in the particular report that we brought you, always the factor remains that the student might have a feeling that he might be victimized. So what is the advice that you would give such a student?
See, the student should have the courage to ask during his continuation of the course, and to be ready to face the odds. Basically, this is not a crime he has committed by asking for a refund, because a facility is denied. He is asking for the denial of the facility and the payment made for such facility which has not been given to him. If victimization is going to take place, the student can take it to another venue. There is Human Rights Commission is there, the authorities, the higher authorities are there to show that I have made a just demand of refund of a facility that has not been given to me. Now I am victimized. See, the problem, the student's career is at stake, because he cannot waste his time fighting with these authorities during his educational prospects growing up. Instead, if it is definitely all the same, wiser parents would advise him, please complete your course and take up cudgels thereafter.
We head into a break on Bill of Rights, but on the other side we tell you about one of the oldest consumer issues in the book, a malfunctioning consumer good. Do stay with us.